Canelo got to stop picking his own opponents, man. He needs to be in there with Cello, both of them. He needs to fight both of them. He needs to fight both of them. Then fight that guy Benavidez.
Benavidez.
Fight both of them. So the guy get ready for Benavidez. He's going to fight those two brothers, then he fight Benavidez. Man, if I was him,
you need both fighters to want to take these fights. The reality is, they don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. I'm talking about Charlo, mainly, right? A little bit Gennady Golovkin. But Canelo moved to 168, and then when you move to 168, why would you fight a 160 champion? Especially someone that's as difficult as Demetrius Andrade. Right. Then when you move to 168, why would you fight a 160 champion? Especially someone that's as difficult as Demetrius Andrade. Right. He's tough to beat.
Got inherited the belt, through the franchise and all that. Canelo, and there was a window where he could have fought Andrade.
There was, but he couldn't make 160 anymore. He moved up to 168. He boxed Callum Smith, he boxed Billy Joe Saunders.
He fought Jacobs, then he fought
175, yeah, exactly. So he went from 160. I believe that after that Jacobs fight was probably the moment he realised he couldn't make 160 anymore. I'm not speaking on his behalf, but to move from 160 to 175.
Yeah, you fighting at 168, undisputed at 168 this weekend. Is there a reason why you didn't go for undisputed at 154 or 160?
That's what we talking about, Eddie and me. We have a lot of opportunities to be undisputed in 154 and 160, but sometimes the promoter is difficult. It's difficult to make it.
Now, I have no reason not to believe Canelo if that's what he thought. My only discrepancy there is he called Boo-Boo a motherfucker a couple months ago, a few months back in the post-fight press conference, and he seemed to have no issue with going after somebody's mom, if that's his interpretation of the word. He seemed to have no issue going after somebody's mom in that particular situation, but then when the word was used towards him, he had an issue with it because he thought he interpreted it as some coming after his mom. Obviously, I think mom jokes, when they're done in seriousness with somebody who doesn't know you, they're off the table. I think they're always offensive. But nonetheless, if it's got to be consistent, then that means he didn't care to disrespect Demetrius' mom a few months ago. If that's in fact the way he feels, what he feels the word means.
Once again, why do you think Canelo Alvarez decided not to unify at 154 and 160? I had my reporter Skip ask Canelo the question, why didn't you unify at 154 and 160? Do you think Canelo Alvarez said because Demetrius Andrade is a horrible fighter? Do you think he said that? No, he didn't say that. You know what he said? He started to stutter and he said, it's because of the promoters. He blamed it on the promoters, which proves that he didn't even believe himself when he said that Andrade is a horrible fighter. But once again, these are the code words that he uses when it comes to dangerous black fighters. If you want to really know if Canelo Alvarez feels that a black fighter is extremely dangerous, all you have to do is wait for him to say two words or use two words, either payday or horrible, right? When he uses those words, we know what it is.
They're picking guys. Life is good for Canelo.
40 million bucks.
You're picking guys that really they're nothing but really well-picked opponents. Do you understand? You're fighting guys that have built up records. And I'm taking nothing away from Plant or Billy Joe Saunders, but look at their records. They're built up they got built up for this, to get to this, and they got to it. Congratulations to all the people that helped navigate that. Congratulations, job, success, well done. But they were built up records. They were fighting these guys. And Canelo's not the greatest there is. He's beatable. Of course he is. He already got beat. We think he got beat 3 times, but officially he got beat once by Mayweather. A special guy. We get it. But, and then you can say, I hear you. I hear you down there in the bunker. I hear you. I hear you saying, but he's grown since then. He's gotten better since then. Yes.
That he definitely has.
Yeah, he has. And I give him credit because he has evolved. He has continued to get better in his journey to be the best fighter he can be. Where, quite frankly, Triple G wasn't. He got to a point where he wasn't getting any better, with his trainer. He's beating guys that are set up. He's picking guys that they can sell it, and they know what's going to happen at the end of the day. And
Kovalev, another perfect example.
Yeah, Kovalev was too old. Kovalev was too rich.
And he had the belt.
Kovalev was the kind of guy you could make quit. You could. Andre Ward proved that. He had a lot of wealth. He was. The ship had sailed on his career. He was happy. He was satisfied. And what did he do? He put pressure on him, and he made him behave the way I just described it. These people, the public, some of them out there, really, you gotta learn from this. You gotta learn that he's not fighting Hagler's. He's not fighting Hearns. He's not fighting blown up Durans, who blown up in late in his career would have been a real challenge. A real challenge. Not these guys. He's not beating Pernell Whitaker, who went up to super middleweight once, fought a really strong guy. He was only, Pernell, the great Pernell, was only a lightweight. He went up to super middleweight and beat a guy. He's not fighting those quality fighters with those kind of skills, those kind of abilities. He's not. As I said in the breakdown to this fight,